Okay, in this video I will show you what I did in class on Tuesday to create that list view. So here is that little website for Fish Creek Animal Hospital. So we already have the database, Fish Creek database. Let me just open it. There's only one table on service, and these are the fields and the data. So there are several services. Each one has a service ID, which is the primary key. It's an automatically created number. Then each service has a name and has some details explanation. So this is the data. I'm gonna put all these into a list view. Also, I have some images. Um, these are the image that I'm gonna link to each record in the table. So by the primary key value. So 1 will be used for service number 1, 2 will be used for service number 2, so on and so forth. Alright, so let's add a new page first. I'll just call it the list view. Use the master page, add. Okay, and the first thing is to add a list view from under data category. And then we can switch to design view and choose a data source. It's going to be from the database. We already have the connection string. Only one table. And that's all the data we have. We can also configure how this list view will look like. I will go with the flow layout, just one record after another. I don't need any formatting at this moment. Okay, so just take a look. So it's very simple list view, one record after another. And here is the first one, okay, the second one, so on and so forth. Alright, so now let's try to customize it. But first let's look at what's in the list view in the code. So a list view contains many different templates. So you can see there are the most basic one is item template. So this will determine the format when you look at each item. And there's also alternating item template. So if the list view is alternating between two different styles from one record to another, so it will use item template for one record and then alternating template for another. So just to make things easier, we'll just remove the alternating template. We'll just stick with one format, one style. We're not gonna do any editing, so we're gonna delete that. We're not gonna do new record using this. We'll delete insert item template. And we don't need to see any different style when we select certain item, so we can also remove selected item template. So now things are a lot easier to deal with. So within item template, you can see it will show the value of service ID using a label. And this value will come from the column service ID from the table. So here, this special syntax marked out by this yellow highlight tells the ASP.NET that here we're not going to see letter EVAL on the page. Instead, this EVAL is a special function in ASP.NET. So when this page is being rendered on to a browser, so instead of showing letter EVAL, it's going to execute a special function called evaluation, eval, and evaluate the value from the column service ID from the table and put the value here into this label. So we can do a little bit more than just these simple value. We can add a picture of that service. So we're going to add an image first. Image, it should be under standard category. And then each image will have an image URL. So tell you where the image is. So let me just do a static one first. So let's always use the it's in images folder. Let's always use one.jpg. Let's set the height to be using IntelliSense height equal to, let's do 100 pixel. Alright, and let's see how this will show up. Save, go in browser. Alright, yep, it shows a picture, but it's always the same. So how can we change picture according to the service ID? So we have to do a little bit of manipulation in this part. So instead of 1, we want to change it to 2 for record number 2 and 3 for record number 3. And to do that, we need to use this kind of syntax. So instead of this, let me just cut this out. So we're gonna have to use this special syntax. It's actually called a macro. And we're gonna use another function called string format. So this will format a certain string according to some kind of rule. So the rule we're gonna use is that we're gonna always have a image from images folder, and it's gonna be something.jpg. Alright, and this something, we're gonna replace it with a special syntax, curly braces 0. So that means this is a parameter. The value we're gonna use to replace this parameter is the evaluation. Alright, so a little bit of explanation here. So the image URL will be something similar to this. It's going to be from the images folder, and it's a JPEG file, but the actual file name will be different according to the value of service ID for that specific record. Alright, so let's see if this will do. Yep, so every time we see a different picture according to the value of the service ID. And the last thing is we want to just format it a little bit, so we see the picture on the left and the service name and description on the right. And to do that, we can use a table to lay out each record. So we add a table from this category. So it's a ASP.NET table, similar to the regular HTML table. And within table, we have just one row. And within this row, we'll have 2 cells. It's the first cell, and let's add another cell here. Alright, so on the left cell, we'll put the image. And in the right cell, we put the name of the service. Oh, we actually want to use a level 2 heading for the name of the service. and then we put a break there. We don't really need one because H2 is a block level element. It will automatically generate a line break, and then we'll put the detail. Just put it here. All right, and then remove all these. Let's take a look. All right. Oh, it shouldn't be service ID. It should be service name. All right. Refresh. There we go. And just one last thing, just to showcase the alternating item template. So let's put it back. It's alternating item template, and then we can just copy this whole thing, this whole table. And since it's alternating, let's just make things a little bit different. We'll put the image on the right and description on the left. So we switch these two cells. We put the second cell as the first cell, and let's take a look. Alright, so you can see how the style alternating. It will take the item template to show the first one, and next one will be the alternating template, and then item template, alternating template, back and forth. Okay, so that's how list view will work.